What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another video of Wet Boys. This is the video where we nominate the dampest of dudes, the soggiest of shooters, the moistest of men, and sometimes even the mistiest of misses. If you're new to Wet Boys, these are our players of the game from the day prior. So today, April Fool's edition. I promise you though, no April Fools here. These are players that all popped off on March 31st, and we all nominate them. Dave gets one, I get one, Jake gets one, Soapy gets a Wet Boy, and then the patrons, Silver, Gold, and Platinum, get to vote on their Wet Boy as well. So if there's one that you don't like, you're like, hey, that patron Wet Boy, someone else should have gotten it, go support us, patreon.com/MVPvids. Otherwise, if you cannot do that, your voice still gets to be heard. We put a poll on our community tab on YouTube so that you can vote for a player as well and still feel included in all the fun going on with Wet Boys. So today, we got 5 Wet Boys. It's the full gambit going on, and we are going to start with Mr. Dave Oster. Who did Dave nominate for his Wet Boy? He went with none other than Jalen Brunson. The Mavs had a great game against the Boston Celtics. Probably should have blown out the Celtics. It was like a 20-some game at some point. I was looking at it, and man, they did not look good. Them being the Celtics did not look good. Mavericks, they let the Celtics back in. Jalen Brunson, he only went 1 from 3, but that's all he needed. One clutch 3. Boom. Bye-bye. Sends the Celtics on their way. And the Mavericks pull out the win against Boston. So Dave going with Jalen Brunson for today. Jake, we'll get to his next. He's also going from the NBA. And Jake, this one kind of hurts me. This is Jake putting, I don't know if you guys see it. There's a knife in my back that he just stabbed me in the back. Because he's going with Devin Booker. And Devin Booker played the Chicago Bulls last night. No Zach LaVine, no Kobe White, no Garrett Temple. It was the Vuce show. And Devin Booker said, nah, brah, it's my show. 45 points for him. Chris Paul even had a pop-off game with the assists. He had 9 or 10 at the halftime buzzer. So, Bulls did not look good yesterday. Suns did look good. Booker almost dropped a 50-piece on us. And, Jake wanted to give Devin Booker some love, even though Bulls fans right now are regretting the trade for Vuce, which all I have to do, and I'll bring it back on me, relax. If you're a Bulls fan watching this, follow me. Ready? Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. That's all you got to do. You'll feel a lot better. I promise you. Moving right along, though, we'll go into my own before we go into soaps. And for me, I am breaking away from the NBA. Let's be completely honest. The other two that we're going to have are NBA players. I am spoiling that for you right now. But for mine, yes, this player did not play yesterday, but something was announced yesterday that I think needs to have some love put on it. And I'm going with a Misty Miss today. I'm going with Paige Bueckers of the UConn Huskies because it was announced yesterday that she is the player of the year in college basketball this year. I want to say it was the AP player of the year. And not only is that spectacular to be the player of the year, she is the first freshman to do it ever. And what she's been doing on the court, Big East player of the year. She's had, with her assist, she has set a season record for UConn, a game record for UConn. She has completely done it all. Wanted to give some love to Paige Bueckers for being the, like I said, the first woman, or the first freshman, I should say. Obviously, all women in college basketball, but the first freshman to win the AP Player of the Year award. So shout out to Paige. Then we go back to the NBA for the other two. Soaps, he wants to give some love to none other than Gary Trent Jr. Gary Trent getting traded from Portland to the Toronto Raptors at the trade deadline. I'll be honest, the first few games didn't seem very Gary Trent-like. I will say, maybe I placed a little bit of prop bets on Gary Trent Jr. mostly to pop off against his own team and the Blazers. No, that was a fine bet. Revenge game for Powell and Trent. That worked out great for me. I lost that $2 and I will never see it again. But Gary Trent had a pop-off game last night, 31 points. Went 12 of 22 from the field, 6 of 11 from 3. This is the Gary Trent that the Toronto Raptors traded for, and I'll be honest, I hope we see more of this from Gary Trent, but not enough for the Raptors to overtake the Bulls. Yeah, I want to see them pop off, but I don't want to see the Raptors overtake the Bulls because I want to see the Bulls in the play-in tourney because I kind of feel like we could beat the Celtics right now. I feel like it would be us against the Celtics in that first play-in tournament game. I feel like we could do it. I feel like we could beat the Boston Celtics. Sorry, JD. And then last but not least, the patrons. Who did they vote for? They went for none other than Anthony Edwards, the, as I have claimed, bust of the 2020 draft. You know, it's a long season. It's a long career. We'll have to wait on that. But, yeah, he had a good game last night. And mainly, to me, the best part about Anthony Edwards last night was his post-game interview after the game where basically he called the fuck out of RJ Barrett, where basically it's like, yeah, Randall, we didn't want him taking the shot, whatever. Like, if RJ wants to take that shot, take it all day, RJ. We knew you were going to miss it. And then he's like, I told him I'm going to tap that thing out so that we can get the rebound. I love it. I love when players call out other players. It kind of reminds me of the WWE. Of course, one's real, one's fake. But I love when players call each other out. Kind of that trash talk. That's why Reggie Miller, although he was a Pacer, is one of my favorite players from the 90s because I just love it. Get under your opponent's skin. Trash talking is probably the best thing in sports in my mind. And that brings us to the YouTube vote. Sometimes I do it before the Patreon Wet Boys. Sometimes we do it after. We're doing it after today. And the patrons took Anthony Edwards. Outside of everyone who got Wet Boys, the YouTube community, and yet again, only had an hour. Should have put this up last night. Only had about an hour and a half. And this poll is still up there. You can vote for it yourself if you want your voice heard. Right now, Luka Doncic leads the way. He had a great game in that Boston game. Duncan Robinson also went off. Ja had 35 points. And we had a big performance. I'm going to screw up the name, but JD in the comment section can help me out, our resident hockey guy in the Discord. Junis Donskoli? Hope I said that right. He had a hat trick. He had a hat trick in the first period, I want to say, of last night's game with the Avalanche. So, I mean, all these guys could have gotten Wet Boys, but hey, out of the remainder, who would you have given the Wet Boy to? And honestly, if there's someone on this list who you think deserved the Wet Boy, go ahead and comment on it. We want to know. We want to know who you guys would have voted for, even if you guys don't support us on Patreon and are not able to vote for the patron Wet Boy. Remember, if you do want to get in on the official patron vote, just check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/MVPvids, silver, gold, platinum. All of those get to vote on Wet Boys each and every day. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. All that fun stuff. Thank you guys for being so great. We will be back tomorrow with another edition of Wet Boys. And as always, have a good day, everybody.